Everybody talks about how good food looks in Ghibli. The ramen in Ponyo, the bread in Kiki's delivery service, the soups, the rice, the little things people eat in kitchens or on the road or after a long day. Ghibli is amazing at making food feel warm and real. You can almost hear it or smell it. But I don't think those scenes stay with people just because the animation is gorgeous. A lot of the most memorable food in Ghibli is not just comforting. Sometimes it feels sad or tense, or sometimes it feels a little off before you even know why. And I think that's because these movies are usually doing more than showing people eat. They're showing what kind of emptiness a person is living with. That's what makes food so important in Ghibli. It reveals people. It tells you whether someone feels grounded or lost, whether they feel at home in the world or cut off from it, whether they're receiving care or trying to replace it with consumption. The real difference in these films is not between eating and not eating. It's between consuming and being nourished. I think Spirited Away makes that clearer than any other Ghibli film. At the beginning, Chihiro's parents find that abandoned food stall and start eating right away. It's one of the most famous food scenes in Ghibli, and it still feels wrong every time. The food looks amazing. It's glossy and overflowing and almost hypnotic. But the scene itself feels anxious from the start. Nobody invited them. Nobody knows who made the food. Nobody stops long enough to even ask whether they should even be there. They just sit down and start taking. That's the part that matters. The scene is not disturbing because the food looks excessive. Ghibli loves abundance. It loves texture and appetite and pleasure. What makes this scene feel bad is the total absence of relationship. The food has been stripped away from care, labor, gratitude, or any awareness that it belongs to someone. Chihiro's parents are not receiving a meal. They're acting like the world is just there for them. And the film turns that into something blunt and ugly. They become pigs. It's a strong image, but it works because the problem is bigger than greed in a simple fairy tale sense. The film is asking what happens when appetite becomes your main way of moving through the world. You stop noticing where anything comes from. You stop noticing limits. You stop noticing other people. That idea comes back later with No Face, and that's part of what makes Spirited Away feel so tight to me. The opening feast is not just a warning scene. It's the first version of a pattern. No Face is hungry too. At first he doesn't seem monstrous. He seems empty, lonely even. He watches Chihiro with this quiet neediness, like he wants to be near someone solid. Then he gets into the bathhouse and starts taking in everything around him. He offers gold because that's what gets people's attention. The workers crowd around him. He keeps eating. He gets bigger and louder and more unstable. And what's unsettling about him is that food is only part of it. He's trying to fill himself with whatever the world will give him. Attention, excitement, bodies, and noise. He doesn't know how to hold himself together, so he keeps searching for more. That kind of hunger feels very human, honestly. The movie understands that there are appetites that have very little to do with pleasure. They come from much deeper panic. That's why the rice ball scene hits so hard. After all of that excess, after the feast and No Face and the sheer noise of the bathhouse, the most healing food in the movie is something small and plain. Haku gives Chihiro a rice ball, and she doesn't react like someone being handed something delicious. She breaks down. She starts crying before she can even really eat it. That scene works because the film knows Chihiro is not just hungry. She's overwhelmed. She's been holding herself together for so long that the rice ball lands as care before it lands as food. It gives her a moment to feel what is happening. It brings her back into her body. It steadies her. That contrast is the center of the whole film for me. The feast is huge, but it gives nothing back. The rice ball is simple, and it restores her. One meal is all appetite, and the other is nourishment. One pulls people away from themselves. The other helps Chihiro come back. And that's where I think the larger Ghibli pattern starts. These films keep coming back to meals that are modest, shared, and given at the right moment. The food that matters most usually shows up when someone is scared, or tired, or alone. It doesn't overwhelm them, it meets them. Kiki's delivery service takes that idea somewhere quieter. There's nothing in Kiki as grotesque as the feast in Spirited Away. Nobody's turned into a pig, nobody is swallowing a room. The hunger in this film is softer than that, but it still shapes almost everything Kiki does. When she leaves home, she's excited, but she's also carrying that strange loneliness that comes with trying to become yourself somewhere new. She wants independence, but she also wants reassurance. She wants to prove she can make it on her own, and at the same time she wants a place where her effort actually matters to someone. That's why the bakery matters so much. It's warm in a very specific Ghibli way. It's the first place in the movie that feels like Kiki might actually be able to land there. And that makes the herring pie scene hurt even more. I think people remember that scene because it's so ordinary. It isn't framed like a huge betrayal. It's just Kiki helping an old woman finish something difficult, then carrying the pie through awful weather so it can reach the granddaughter. But the whole scene is full of care. The old woman is tired and struggling, and she still wants to make something by hand for someone she loves. Kiki recognizes that right away. She sees the work inside the meal. So when the granddaughter rejects it, what stings is not just that she doesn't want the pie. It's that she doesn't seem able to feel what is being given to her. Kiki can feel it though. That's why the scene lands so deeply. She is hungry for that exact kind of warmth herself. She wants to belong somewhere. She wants what she gives to arrive somewhere good. She wants effort and care to mean something. So the pie scene is not just about food. It's about whether love is being received at all. That makes Kiki a really important step in this whole conversation. In Spirited Away, hunger spirals because appetite has been cut off from relationship. In Kiki, hunger is the ache of needing relationship in the first place. You can feel that all through the movie. Kiki works hard. She tries to be useful. She keeps showing up. But usefulness is not the same as belonging, and the film knows that. There's a point where being dependable stops feeling like purpose and starts feeling like a person quietly running on empty. That's part of why her loss of confidence hits so well. It feels like the natural result of someone trying to build a life before she's been fully nourished by it. She can work, she can deliver, she can help, but she still needs rest, recognition, and a place where she doesn't have to earn every ounce of warmth she receives. And Ghibli is very good at that kind of nourishment. A room, a meal, someone noticing you're worn down. Small things, but never trivial ones. Then Princess Mononoke turns the whole idea outward. Here, hunger stops being mainly about greed or belonging and becomes part of a harder question. What does it mean to survive in a world where every life depends on something else being used up? That's why the food in Mononoke feels so different from the food in other films. It's rougher, simpler, closer to the body. People are working, bleeding, traveling, defending themselves. Nobody in this world feels comfortably protected from necessity. Even moments of care carry strain inside them. And that matters because it changes the shape of hunger. The people of Irontown are not framed as simple villains reaching for luxury. They are trying to live. They need medicine, fuel, work, shelter, protection. Their survival has a cost, and the film never lets that cost disappear. It also never lets survival become morally pure just because it's necessary. That tension is what gives Princess Mononoke so much weight. Need is real, but so is damage. The world is not divided neatly into those who take too much and those who remain innocent. Everyone is tied into the same wound. That's why the scene where San feeds Ashitaka matters so much. It's intimate, but not in a softened, sentimental way. She's still wary. He is still injured, and the larger conflict is still there. Nothing has been solved, but for that moment, feeding him matters more than the line between them. The gesture lands because it cuts through the ideology and gets down to the body. Someone is hurt. Someone else chooses to sustain him. That kind of scene could feel small in another movie. Here, it feels enormous, because Mononoke keeps asking what happens when survival itself starts turning violent. When people are doing what they have to do, and what they have to do is still tearing through the world around them. Food becomes part of that same pressure. It keeps the film honest. It doesn't let you float away into broad symbolism. Bodies need things. Communities need things. Those needs are never abstract. What matters here is that Mononoke gives hunger a tragic weight. It's no longer about empty indulgence or emotional loneliness. It's about need under pressure, and the fact that even necessary lives can become destructive when the world is arranged badly enough. Then Ponyo changes the feeling again. That shift matters because otherwise this whole pattern would start sounding harsher than it really is. Ghibli is not suspicious of appetite itself. It loves appetite when it's still connected to curiosity, warmth, and other people. That's what makes Ponyo so sweet. She wants food the way a child wants the world. Completely. She wants ham, ramen, human life, comfort, closeness, all of that. Her desire is huge, but it doesn't feel invasive. It feels open. And the ramen scene is probably the clearest example of that. It's just a simple meal in a little house while the storm is raging outside. But the scene works because everything around it is right. Lisa makes the food. Sosuke is there. Ponyo is thrilled by it. The room feels safe. The world outside has gone unstable, and inside there is warmth, light, and something hot to eat. That's what gives this scene its emotional pull. The ramen is good, sure, but what really lands is the feeling of being welcomed into a human space. Ponyo is not consuming the meal the way Chihiro's parents consume the feast. She is joining something. She is entering a world through care. Hunger in Ghibli is not always a sign of danger or lack. Sometimes it's the joy of discovering that the world can hold you. It's one of Ghibli's clearest expressions of comfort, and it works because the comfort is shared. And in Porco Rosso, appetite feels older, less innocent than Ponyo, less morally charged than Spirited Away, and less pressured than Mononoke. It feels like part of adulthood. Porco is a man who still lives in the world, but at a distance from it. He's funny and capable, and still very much present on the surface. Yet there's a sadness under him that never really lifts. So when the film gives him food, drink, or textures of ordinary life, those moments land quietly. They don't transform him. They remind you he is still reachable. That's what I find interesting about appetite in Porco Rosso. It doesn't solve anything. It just keeps contact alive. A shared table, a drink, the ease of being in a place for a minute. In a film shaped by regret and self-exile, that's enough to mean something. Once you put these movies next to each other, the larger pattern becomes pretty clear. Ghibli keeps coming back to food because food lets it talk about people without reducing them to speeches. It can show greed through a feast, loneliness through a pie, survival through a rough meal shared in conflict, welcome through ramen, and a worn, adult connection to life through the ordinary pleasures that still reach Porco. That's why these scenes stay with people. Ghibli knows that being full and being nourished are different things. You can have more than enough and still be empty. Sometimes all it takes is something warm, something shared, and a moment where the world feels human again.